Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting into something fascinating, prayer. Specifically, we're looking at what our source calls persistence in prayer. Our inspiration comes from a devotional, Rhapsody of Realities by Pastor Chris, 17th August. And our mission, well, it's to unpack why this source views persistent prayer as sacrosanct and how it's seen as this incredibly powerful force.
Absolutely. And right away, what jumps out is that this isn't just about, asking for things. The devotional calls prayer a vital priestly service or ministry. That's a pretty specific term. And it leans heavily on that instruction from 1 Thessalonians 5:17, pray without ceasing. Plus, there's this bold claim, certain things will not change until you pray. It really sets a high bar, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
A priestly service. Okay, so if prayer has that kind of weight, how does the source illustrate it? It jumps right into some very vivid imagery from the Bible. Revelation 5:8, it talks about golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of saints. Golden vials full of odors, representing our prayers. What is this image telling us, according to the source?
Well, it's interesting. The source immediately connects this vision in Revelation back to the Old Testament.
Yeah.
It points to the instructions for the priests, back at the tabernacle. They had to burn incense every morning and evening. That was part of their duty. And crucially, the Bible itself, in Hebrews 10:1, hints that this whole Old Testament setup was a kind of preview. A shadow of things to come is the phrase used.
A shadow, okay. So if the old incense was just the shadow, then John's vision in Revelation, seeing these golden vials full of odors as the prayers of saints, that suggests our prayers are the real thing, the substance that the incense pointed towards. It really paints this picture of prayers ascending, almost like a tangible scent going up to God.
Exactly. That's the idea presented. It's not just words vanishing into thin air. And it seems King David understood this way back. He actually prayed in Psalm 141.2, let my prayer be set forth before thee as incense. Ooh. So this view, drawing on history and prophecy, really elevates every single prayer. It suggests it has a spiritual presence and effect.
That's quite a vision, prayers as heavenly incense. But, the next logical question is, how does that actually do anything? How does something seemingly so ethereal like incense translate into real changes here on earth in our lives?
Right, that's the key link, isn't it? And the source is quite direct about the mechanics here. It teaches that these prayers, especially intercessory ones, go up to God and, quote, topple the plans of the enemy.
Yeah.
And they change things in the heavenly realm, which then leads to positive changes in the earth. So it's presenting a clear cause and effect. Prayer initiates a change in the spiritual realm first, which then impacts the physical world. It's seen as actively dismantling opposition, spiritually speaking.
And this isn't just about big global events, right? The source brings it right down to the personal level. It says that really taking prayer seriously, persistently, can lead to tangible changes in your life. And also, interestingly, a greater influence and impact of the Holy Spirit in and around you. So it's personal transformation, too.
Yes. And the source offers some, pretty practical advice on how to maintain this persistence. It's not just abstract. It actually says to separate yourself from everything else and pray. Find dedicated time. It also mentions speaking in tongues at every opportunity you get. That's presented as a way to sort of build up your spirit and pray effectively, even when you don't know the specifics of what to ask for. And there's a helpful tip, too. If you miss a planned prayer time, don't just skip it. Pray soon afterwards. Keep the momentum.
It emphasizes consistency over perfect scheduling, it seems, and the power linked to this persistence. Well, the source highlights James 5:16, the Amplified Classic Version. It says, the earnest, heartfelt, continued, prayer of a righteous man makes tremendous power available, dynamic in its working. Tremendous power available, dynamic. That's strong language.
It really is, and it directly counters any sense of, job done. The source warns against thinking, I prayed yesterday, that should take me through the whole week. It explicitly says no. It keeps coming back to that core idea, pray without ceasing. It's an ongoing state, not just isolated events.
Okay, so as we kind of wrap up our look at this devotional's perspective, there's a real sense of urgency. It states, quite plainly, the stakes are much higher than ever. Why such urgency?
Well, the source connects this persistent prayer to a much bigger end game, you could say. The ultimate purpose described as this. We must persist in prayer until the last soul that must be won is reached and brought into the kingdom before the rapture of the church. Okay. Now, the rapture of the church is about believers being taken to heaven. So the source ties your individual persistent prayer directly into this large-scale, urgent spiritual mission of reaching people.
Wow. Okay, so summing this up, This deep dive, based on Pastor Chris's devotional, it really reframes prayer, doesn't it? It's not just talking to God. It's presented as a priestly service, like heavenly incense, a dynamic force changing things spiritually first, then physically. It's continuous, it's vital, and it connects our personal lives to, well, cosmic, spiritual dynamics.
It certainly does. Which leads to perhaps a final thought for you to ponder, drawn from all this. If our prayers really are like those golden vials full of odors, ascending, impacting the heavens, causing change on earth, what then is the real cost, maybe the hidden cost, of not being persistent? What changes, what interventions, what personal growth, what impact on the world might be missed when that incense stops rising?
That's definitely something to think about. A powerful question indeed. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into persistent prayer. We hope it gave you some fresh perspectives to consider. Until next time.
For more information on how you can grow spiritually using Rhapsody of Realities, please visit our website, www.rhapsodyofrealities.org, or you can also visit rin.rhapsodyofrealities.org/salvation. Thank you.